All right, this Twitter deal, I don't know if it's getting done. I don't know if it's getting done because Elon Musk looks like he has serious buyer's remorse. The mic volume probably just went up because the mic is better now. Why does he have buyer's remorse? Because the market crashed when he offered $44 billion, $54.20 a share. He offered the money, $44 billion, $54.20, $4.20. He thought he was being fun. He thought he was being cute. It was exciting. It was invigorating. The whole world was captivated. He did a TED Talk literally right after, very serious conversation about the nature of free speech. Now he's like, screw it. Tesla went from 1,000 to 750, lost $200 billion in market cap. Twitter, it's not worth $44 billion, not in this market anymore. And now he's trying to come up with some reasons to get out of the deal. Look, at the end of the day, he made a bad deal because he didn't do enough due diligence. And that's okay. Even the most, amazing entrepreneurs are capable of mistakes. However, it's going to be tough for him to get out of this deal. In order for him to get out of this deal, he has to show specific forms of material adverse effects on the company that the company failed to disclose. So for example, his due diligence was based upon public SEC filings around Twitter's metrics, Twitter's business. His argument is like, Twitter is now filled with way too many bots. They misreported their metrics, and as a result of them misreporting their metrics, they have made it unable for him to effectively buy this company in any meaningful capacity. So let's go to some of his thoughts, because Elon just gave some thoughts at the Elon podcast, which is a famous podcast that just had a summit. And let's hear him talk a little bit about the bots, and we'll kind of react to how he thinks about this.
So
you have no idea what level of witchcraft and alchemy is needed to determine this bot percentage.
He's talking about the reason they're laughing is because it's like it's so hard to solve this bot problem, because Elon's like, Twitter's not exposing how many bots they have. For obvious reasons, if they have a lot of bots, it's bad for their user base because they have to get rid of those bots, and then if they get rid of those bots, they decrease their users. So he's laughing about how simple it is to get rid of them, but they're not doing it.
have you determined?
I said, like, why not try calling people? But I haven't got a response. Like, if you tried calling people or something, like maybe try
The
that.
answer? It's not a bot.
No, I don't know. But I think like that would be one of the things to do, to say like, have you tried calling them, as opposed to like trying to read the tea leaves here. That's like impossible. Obviously, you can have an account that looks exactly like a human account, or is being operated where one person is operating 1,000 accounts or something. But that person can only buy one toaster. They're not going to buy 1,000 toasters. So you care about like number of unique, real people that are on the system. It's extremely fundamental. And anyone who uses Twitter is well aware that the comment threads are full of spam, scam, and just a lot of fake accounts. So. It seems beyond reasonable for Twitter to claim that the number of essentially the number of said another way, the number of real unique humans that you see making comments on a daily basis on Twitter is above 95%. That is what they're claiming. Does anyone have that experience?
I
So Twitter is claiming, look, 95% of our users every day are real. Elon's like, BS. That's not true. There's way too much spam. There's way too many fake accounts. And as a result, if he wins that Twitter kind of basically gave fraudulent information, their public filings around the amount of daily active users they have, he can get out of the deal without paying the $1 billion breakup fee that is in the contract. He has to pay the $1 billion breakup fee if he just decides to walk away. And if he does that, he's going to get sued. The way he walks away without paying any money is if he proves that Twitter lied. And again, he doesn't want to pay the deal anymore because, like, it's not worth that much money.
I mean, really? Listen, like, there's a bridge I'd like to sell you. And also you can buy the Brooklyn Bridge.
What do you think it is? What's the?
If it's not 5%, what is it?
I think it's some number that is probably at least 4 or 5 times that number. I'd say if you did sort of the lowest estimate would be probably 20%, and this is a bunch of quite smart outside firms have done analysis of Twitter and looked at the sort of daily users, and their conclusion is also about 20%, but that's a lower bound. It's not an upper bound. Mm-hmm. If you look at, say, the most liked tweets on Twitter, so I have the honor of having the most liked tweet of any living human This, this is. Thank you, everyone, for liking my tweet, including you, some of the bots out there. But that tweet is less than 5 million likes.
By the way, that tweet was, I need to buy Coca-Cola to put the cocaine back in. So, yeah. All right.
It's like 4.7 or something like that. And that was where I tweeted about that next time buying Coca-Cola to put the cocaine back in. It's clearly something that the public really wants. And, Coca-Cola Corporation should really think about going back to their roots. Some OG Coca-Cola. This I guess is the reason why our grandparents could sort of walk 20 miles in the snow because they had Coca-Cola with cocaine. This is the real reason.
Elon would never kind of say this stuff on like a Wall Street Journal interview. That's why it's so nice that he's doing this podcast about it. All right, a little bit more, then we'll talk.
Anyway, that is literally the most popular tweet of any living human. But Twitter says that the sort of monetizable daily active users is 217 million. So why would it be that the most popular tweet ever basically is only 2.5% of the entire user base? This seems a very, very low number. And the most popular tweets generally are clustered around that sort of 4 million like level. So it's like sort of call it like basically 2% or less than 2% of the daily active users. And technically monetizable daily active users is how Twitter refers to it. So it just seems, how is this possible? Surely there's something that maybe 10% of people would like, not merely 2%.
Well, actually, if you think about it, Elon, there's a corollary on YouTube. What's the total user base of YouTube, and what have the most popular videos gotten there?
Yes.
And I think there's a billion or two, maybe a billion people using YouTube, and the most popular videos have tens of billions of views.
Yes.
That might be instructive.
Exactly. That ratio makes a lot more sense.
So that's kind of the core argument I wanted to talk about and kind of go through right here. There's a unique situation that's going on. Elon Musk says, look, there's bots on Twitter, and it's proven through two metrics. Number one, the number of people that can actually engage with some of the most popular content on the platform. So that's like the most liked tweet, right? If the most liked tweet is only getting 2% of the user base, whereas YouTube has 2 billion people, biggest video is getting 10 billion views, that means the entire user base times 5 is actually watching that content. Those are actual pieces of content that have gone viral on the platform. Whereas 2% of users getting the most liked tweet means that, do you even have 200 million users? Maybe you have less than 200 million, so then that 2% would actually turn into 5-6%, but that means the total daily active users, monetizable users, would go down, right? It would actually create that effect. So that's sort of the first argument, that the daily active users are down. The second thing is sort of the experiential argument he's going for, which is like, when I've engaged on Twitter, it doesn't feel like 5% of the people are bots. 95% of the things I'm getting are real people. It doesn't feel like that. And as a result of him not feeling like that, he's kind of like pushing this argument that that's not true. And outside firms have done some studies, and it's just like, it can't be possible that the constant level of spamming and stuff we see in the comments only amounts to 5%. Now, why is this incredibly important for Twitter's business? Twitter does not do brand conversion advertising. They do brand awareness advertising. So if you're selling a water bottle and you want someone to see the ad, click on it, and then drive them to your Shopify website and then buy the thing, so that converts the sale off the advertisement, that's a phenomenal advertising business, but that's not on Twitter. That's on Facebook. Why? Because Facebook is more conducive to people actually scrolling, seeing something, clicking on it, and then converting. Twitter is not like that. Twitter is brand impressions, right? Twitter, there's quick tweets, you're scrolling through it. It's not the same type of flow of how people are consuming the content, which means that at that point, Twitter is saying, hey, brands, Netflix, you have a new movie coming up. You don't need people to like literally convert to watch the movie. You just need people to know about the movie so they can eventually go and watch it on their own time. How do you get awareness for the movie? Well, you can do it on Twitter, where it's sort of a natural progression of how people are consuming content. If that's the case, this argument makes a lot of sense that Twitter doesn't want to report they have less active users, because brands are paying per impression at that point. So if a bot account is scrolling through their feed, or it's algorithmically just like programmed to see some advertisements, those aren't real humans seeing the real ad. There's not a real brand impression, which means the value to the advertiser is significantly lower than it is right now, which means Elon Musk's argument is that this is a materially adverse effect because the nature of the business relies on brand impressions, but that relies on monetizable daily active users. You can't monetize something that's not actively using it because it's a bot, which means you're giving the brand the metrics that they're getting brand impressions, but they're not actually getting that awareness, which means they're not paying for a service that makes any sense, or that has any correlation to their advertisement. So this is bad for Twitter and their business model. That's why Twitter doesn't want to report they have less users, obviously, because then brands would stop paying that much money. But for Elon, it's contradictory because it makes sense. It's like, okay, I get why you don't want to buy it, especially at 44 billion, but you said you don't care about money. You said this is not about money. You said this is about free speech, which means if it's about free speech, why are you worried about monetizable daily active users? You'll figure that stuff out. Like you'll make something where more people join. You'll figure out the user problem. You'll figure out the ad problem, but it shouldn't matter because you care about free speech, and Twitter is the place where free speech happens. Obviously, he cares more about free speech right now when the market crashes and his Tesla shares are collateral, which is understandable. He already sold 8 billion shares, or $8 billion worth of shares of Tesla. It gets to the point where it's just overvalued, and there's just no way you can afford to pay $44 billion for a product like that. Now, Twitter's still committed to the deal because they're getting $54.20 a share, and in this market, $54.20 when the stock should probably be $23, $25 is an absolute bargain, which is why Twitter's management is like, hey, we're still trying to get this done, and Elon is like, not anymore. So let's see what happens. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on what you think about what Elon Musk is going to end up doing with this Twitter deal. It's going to be interesting to see this play out. Thank you so much for watching. Looking forward to your comments. I'll see you in the next one.